Well, let me say, I am excited to be with you this morning. This is a great morning to be with each other. This is our power call. I come every Tuesday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm Dr. Cheryl Clarke, and I'm excited to be with my women of color. Begin to start the morning right. And I begin to say to you, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're reaching and listening to me. So, if you don't know who I am, I'm the author of the Girl You Cute movement. Why do I call it the Girl You Cute movement? Because that's exactly what we are doing. We are creating a movement here. We're creating a movement to know that, girl, you more than cute. Girl, you are capable. Girl, you can do it. Girl, you are the one. Step into that space. So in the book, I have a speak your now declaration that I want to start with. So if you have your book, you could read along with me, or you could take it all in as I begin to read it. And you could say to yourself, girl, I'm cute, and share the link out so that they can know that how they can begin to speak in their own power, begin to stand in their power, say that I am powerful. All right? So let's go ahead and start. Today, I reclaim my power of purpose. Today, I declare that I have unshakable faith and confidence in my uniqueness. Today, I declare that I will not live in fear, but with power, love, and a sound mind. Today, I declare that I always communicate with words to empower myself and others. Today, I declare to always honor myself by living in the present and living powerfully in each moment. Amen and Ashe. Well, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. And I usually come and just give you a power talk. And in this power talk, I talk about something that's going to deal with your voice. It's going to deal with how you use your voice, how you maintain your voice, how do you begin to use your voice for a tool, knowing that it's your superpower. And in this moment today, we're doing this call, I want you to realize as this moment right here, it's about to be the end of the year that I'm doing this call. But every year you could take this message that I'm going to talk to you today about. And I want you to observe your story. This power call is all about observing your narrative. What am I telling myself? See, I'm talking about the voice that is inside of us. I'm talking about the voice that usually is talking louder than we think. It's that unconscious voice, that voice inside of us that is running the show. It's the voice that's telling you that next chapter, what are you going to do? It's the next one that's telling you the truth of the lived experiences that you've had. Now, I want you to observe yourself. Now, I've always told you that I always got a mirror by me because I'm always looking at her. I'm always looking at her in the mirror to say, who am I? And by the end of this call, I want us to understand that you can find your voice and your superpower. So, this is where you can begin to see where it is and how intentional you can be by the stories that you are telling yourself or the stories that you have might been telling that have might been told to you. So before we get into you this year, before you say any stories like, I wasted this whole year, I should be further along, I didn't do enough, I failed, everyone else is moving forward but me. That is a story that you have in your head that you're telling yourself. And the story that you have got to understand, where did it begin? See, that story that you're telling yourself, that story that you're saying at the end of the year, it becomes your emotional posture. I want to call that. And then you stand in that, you speak in that unconsciously sometimes. And you carry that story into your next day, your next week, your next year. So today, we're not fixing anything. All right, let me just say that. We're not fixing anything, but we are looking at how we are going to begin to observe ourselves. We are going to begin to look and see how we're not fixing anything. We're just observing the things that we have been telling ourselves. So, as a therapist, I have seen many times in my room that I've named very clearly that therapy and therapists have named very clear for clarity. We've named it for humans. We do it every day. What we experience. We experience through our narratives. And when you're walking and when you're talking completely, when you're walking, you say in the same year and everything that walks up, and you think that you wake up the same way, you don't. You know, two people can live in the same year and walk away with two different completely meanings of that year. And you could live in the same house. You could live in the same house. Some people could say, like, say they have money issues in one year. Some people say, you know, I was broke that year. And some people said that was my building year. I learned some lessons about my finances that year. See, it's a difference in how you speak to yourself. It's a different, it maybe could be the same event that they didn't have a lot of money, but they got some different stories from that, experiences, how you observe. And most of us don't realize the stories that we're telling ourselves. It's just that. It's a story. It's a story that keeps us repeating the same patterns. It's a story that keeps us emotionally reactivated, charged to go and do something. It keeps us also familiar too. That's why when I talk about cultural expectations about us, it shapes it. So the cultural trauma also shapes it. And you being in survival mode also shapes it, especially for the brown and black women. Because of culture, and I want to just talk a little bit about how culture it's very different for, I would say, the different generations. The Gen X's and the later millennials, I can say that we are very much so harsh on ourselves. And we look at ourselves and say we should have been doing more. We got to be doing more. Put pressure on us to do more. Then we also minimize our rest. We overlook the emotional labor that's put in there, right? And that is called survival mode. There's nothing special about that. There's nothing special. How about at the end of this year, how many look back at your year and say, how many of us have went into survival mode and that we're not in the thriving mode? This is why I want you to begin to observe your story. This is what this call is about. See, when I did the voice recovery, what I observed is I had to observe everything about how a woman can silence herself, how a woman can shrink herself, how she can give up on herself, how she can decide to begin to do it again or get up and ask for support. Or you could have a run on sentence about what you've been talking about in your life. This is your time now that you could actually see yourself in a space that I'm moving forward. I'm not only moving forward, but I'm taking my power back. I am going to say what I need to do this year. What story are you telling yourself about this year that is almost ending? What are you telling yourself? Not what you posted on social media, not what you're telling people. I want you, not that polite answer, but the private one that keeps going on in your head. Did you waste time? You wasted too much time. You should be further. You're a failure. All these things that you may be not even recognizing or observing that you're saying to yourself. See, and the thing is, the most important thing is that you may be saying it, but I no longer want you to judge it. I want you to come from a space where to simply ask yourself, where did the story come from? Just truly getting the data. I want you to look at this year. At the end of this year, we're going to end the cultural silencing. We're going to end the shame. We're going to end it right here with you. If you feel as though this is where, in this moment, that you may have done some of this. And in this moment, the expectations, I always talk about the silent expectations we have on ourselves. Be strong. You got to be productive. You got to be resilient. You got to be grateful. You got to be all of these things. Don't complain. I'm not saying any of that is not something that we have to do. What I am saying is I just want you to observe when you slow life down, just to observe. Observe when someone passed away. Did you grieve in that space? Observe when you have to be the caretaker. Did you take time for yourself? Observe when you're feeling a pain in your body and you have ignored it. Sit with that for a moment. See, this is where you can begin to now look at yourself, and now you can actually notice in this time, in this year, what did I actually do? Why am I saying this to you? It happened to me. I was sharing with Lady Bolton. I was exhausted. I turned 50 this year, and I found myself exhausted. Came July, and I was like, what the heck? I had to get quiet. I had to literally get quiet and observe. I had to go within. I had to pray. I had to take care of Cheryl. And for the whole summer, if I decided to do something, I was intentional with my yes. I was intentional with my story. But I didn't allow myself to sit in a pity party. I allowed myself to stand in the space of no longer survival mode. But I was able to breathe, get my nervous system in place, observe what I desired that I really wanted to do, and I got busy. So for the whole month, the whole summer, I did a business plan. Not only a business plan, I created a whole model in this package here. This is where it came from. It came from me getting silent and observing my actions, observing what I do well, observing what the community needed, observing to understand, girl, you cute is a movement. Not about me. It's about how the girls can get helped. It's about me understanding how principals can now serve their communities better. And out of that, a curriculum has happened. So your story, I don't want you to edit it. I don't want you to explain it. I want you to get quiet and observe it. I want you to get honest with yourself. I want you to get factual with yourself. I want you to get compassionate with yourself. I don't want you to punish yourself. I want you to begin to look and see your story. And observing, you don't have to agree with it. See, the story means that it has been living inside of you forever, and you refuse to observe it. So this is what I want you to do this week. This week, this is what I want you to do. I desire for you to leave today knowing that this year that you're about to jump into, this moment, how about today that you're about to go ahead and do, that you need to stand in the story that may not be pretty, that may not be loud right now, that may not be motivating. Stand in that story. And then I want you to observe that story, because I want you to know that sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is observe you before you even speak. This year, more than what this year, ask yourself, more than what you can expect, but slow down so you can hear your inner thoughts. You may be self-sabotaging yourself unbeknownst to you. This year, I want you to begin to look and see you are here for a reason. And this alone is voice recovery. Observing your story. And what am I telling myself? Don't judge the story, listen to it. And when you're ready, you're not knowing that you're not behind, you're not broken, you're not late. You're just processing the story and observing who do you want to be this year. So before you end and before we end, I want you to know that this is an opportunity for you not to only stand in your power, but you to begin to recover and say, this is not, I'm not going to be a people pleaser this year. I'm going to be able to move in this season. And I am going to see how my voice is my superpower. All right. I hope this blessed you today. And I'm going to open up for any questions or comments or coaching at this time. Let me know what you think. I am curious what you are moving into and what you want to say today. If you have the opportunity to open up your mic, this is your time. All right. Some people can't open up their mic, so I'm going to read the chat. Lady Bolton says, I agree. This was powerful. Uh, Yes. Go ahead, Lady Bolton. You can open up your mic. I see a hand.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
All right, I'm in the gym. Um, thank you I think my takeaway from this really is about observing. I think that I live my life moving, as you know, moving. And I have traded um, the process of observing to almost mean that stillness is laziness. And so I'm never still long enough to sit back and observe. Um, and so that's powerful, and I'm definitely going to activate that process of observing. So thank you.
Oh, I like that. I'm going to activate that process of observing. Whew, I love that. Because now you get to say, and you get to say how I could begin to move this in this moment. How can I get to move and activate that? She's going to do something. It's something that you're going to do. Thank you for that, Lady Bolton. Ming Canty says, I'm starting a podcast, and these Tuesday mornings that I have catch have been empowering for me. Thank you. Absolutely. Anybody?
Dr. Cheryl.
Yes, Sophia.
Um, well, I would say I understand it. I feel it. I want to say, I guess 2 years, well, a year and a half ago, I went from working 4 jobs and just stressing, two of them being full time, and just being in that shark survival mode because sharks can't stop or they'll die. So that's always been my mantra, especially becoming a single mom at 30, just trying to provide and making sure. And now I'm at a place where I work one job. I work from home. So it's like getting adjusted to now I don't have to be in survival mode anymore. It's more like now I can pamper me. I can pamper my child. I can be relaxed. And a lot of times you're doing so much where you don't take time for yourself because for me, I know I would feel guilty if I even took and that hustler rushing mentality. I don't have time for myself. I got to make sure all these bills are paid. I got to make sure her needs are met. I got to make sure everything is good before I can focus on myself. And now I'm more at I would say more now understanding how to adapt to it. I mean, it's been a few months now, but the first month or two, I was just like, oh, I don't have to go anywhere. Oh no, you're just here. So I think just even just learning how to can be a different culture shock from everything on the go. And now I could relax. I could just be in me and more or less build within because I don't think you're ever really at a still state. You just might be more at a slow growth where that's where it's needed at that time to focus on fine tune the skills that you're working on.
You said something very interesting. Observing, and I think that you took this moment to just observe, like, wow, I had 4 jobs last year. Like, I was moving because this gives you a moment just to stop. But I would, what else I would process with you? Not process with you, but invite you to do, Sophia, is also look deeper into say, don't judge yourself, but then observe you from last year and your growth. Because I see the growth inside of you to know who you are. And so many of us are in hustle mode that we don't know. We need to stop in the moment, recalibrate our body,
Yeah,
recalibrate our mind. Your brain needs to be reset. And
very true.
yes, and think about how many of us that don't get the proper rest.
Nope.
Now, rest means that my body is now when I hit the pillow, I can go straight to sleep. You know how many people toss and turn? You know how many people stay up at the computer?
Yes.
And
Well,
go ahead.
just to add on to that, I mean, rest is when your mind is at rest. I could go lay down and I'm still thinking about all the stuff I need to do, like it's chess. Because if I don't do this, what if I don't do that? Like, it's learning a whole system reset. Not even reset, just more or less learning how to put things to sleep, even your own thoughts, because your mind will keep racing. I know for myself, I was that way. Even if I tried to go to sleep, I couldn't go to sleep because I was thinking about other stuff.
Yeah. It's called hypervigilance. So when your body is in that mode, it takes you to a space, it takes you out of the moment. It gets you hypervigilant to what's happening. And that's when anxiety starts to seep in. It's like you can't control tomorrow, but you're in tomorrow already. You're in next week. You're in next month. You can't control any of it. It's like, how do I control this? I couldn't control when my mom got sick and was in the hospital. And I had to stop and say, Cheryl, okay, I had to pray, I had to center Cheryl. Then after that, my daughter the same week it gets hit by a car. It's like, how do you kid continue to move and then you still gotta show up? And I had to stop. This is what life looks like. Life looks like it brings you things at your door to say, what am I going to do with it? Life is going to happen regardless. It's part of our journey. You just got to sit back and observe before we are reactivated. And a lot of us get reactivated and we do something. When you are reactivated, that means that your emotional state has taken over. There's no logic there. And you are now moving on fumes, probably. And you're moving with emotion. And it doesn't work. So what I'm imploring you guys to do, and I am super excited this was very helpful to you, is if when you find yourself in a space, just observe. Just observe. Shawnee writes, thank you for that, Sophia. Shawnee writes, this has confirmed some things for me. Thank you. This was needed today. Great. Anybody else would like to share anything before we get off the line? Well, I want to thank you so very much for trusting the process today, observing. I implore you to go ahead and do something today for yourself and go over to the Speak Your Power Now YouTube channel and subscribe. Share the video out when it does drop. And at the end of the year, I want you to begin to look with more clarity, compassion, without punishment. And I want you to begin the voice recovery process. Okay, this is your time. This is your space. God bless and have a powerful day. And remember that your voice matters. Have a blessed and powerful day. Until next time.
You are enough. Your voice is divine. Now speak.